What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Dillian the Body Snatcher Whyte. Dillian Whyte has responded to the comments that Deontay Wilder has made regarding the four ample opportunities that he had to fight him. He says that Deontay Wilder will more than likely now go to franchise champion just to avoid fighting me. He says that he's offered Deontay Wilder several career high paydays. And he just doesn't really want to fight me. But either way, I'm coming for you. Now, we've already discussed in my latest interview or my latest video regarding this matter of how he had to face Ortiz. And I thought that was a good route. I thought that him fighting Ortiz would have been the right way to go because that was a fight that would have answered a lot of questions. First of all, it would have answered that was Luis Ortiz just hype when he fought another elite fighter? Because everybody knew Deontay Wilder was dangerous, but we really didn't know how good he was. He was just good enough to land the right shots at the right times against Ortiz to get him out of there. But how would he match up against another top 5 or top 10 opponent, or the number 1, which Dillian Whyte was? So that would have been something that I would love to see because it was an eliminator, so to speak. You know, because if Dillian Whyte could chop through Luis Ortiz like all my British peeps think or thought, well, if he was able to do that and then Deontay Wilder could defeat Ortiz, but then Dillian Whyte can then defeat Ortiz, then we're looking at, okay, this guy, at what round did Dillian Whyte do this? Let's say he'd have done it faster. Let's say he would have done it in round 7. Caught Luis with that left hook and viciously beat him to the ground and made him quit, or the ref stopped it or whatever, a knockout or whatever, okay? Like he did Chisora, right? And let's say he did that in the 7th round. So they had these guys now, you know, Deontay Wilder's only claim to fame, and to this day is only his claim to fame by beating Ortiz. He would have joined Deontay Wilder with beating Ortiz. Then Luis Ortiz wouldn't have really been as significant. The win wouldn't. Because it's always, it catapults a fighter on how good a fighter does after they beat him. So if that fighter goes on to progress and fight and beat every other guy in their career or after that loss, that makes the guy that beat them that much higher in value. You see what I'm saying? Like Luis Ortiz didn't lose after Deontay Wilder, so they could still half-ass sell him. He was still marketable because he was yet the only guy to beat him was Deontay Wilder. So that was that one strong leg Wilder had to stand on. But if Dillian Whyte would have done that, that would have been his claim to fame also. Then he would have proved, hey, I'm better than Luis Ortiz. I'm better than the guy that you claim, or your only claim to fame then. So I'm the guy that you need to see. You need to come see me because I beat the guy that you beat, but I did it better than you did. You know what I'm saying? And then that's why, and I don't understand a lot of people that, you know, especially from the UK that thought, well, hey, Luis Ortiz is trash. He's this, he's that. He's slow, he's a bum, he's old. And I'm like, well, you guys don't understand. This is chess, not checkers. If he was able to do that, if Dillian Whyte was able to get Ortiz into the ring to get a fight with him, it would have been something more like, okay, great. We have a guy that was the boogeyman of the heavyweight division that was beaten by the WBC champion. Now he's beaten by the WBC silver champion. You know what I mean? So really, that makes Deontay's stock lower a little bit, but then yet these guys don't understand. The only guy that beat Dillian Whyte was Anthony Joshua, though. So that makes his value rise because Dillian Whyte hasn't been beat but once, but only by Anthony Joshua. Okay, so that would have been a fight that would have really sparked interest. Because then Deontay Wilder could have then in return said, you know what? Let me take out Dillian Whyte, but let me do it faster than Anthony Joshua did. You see what I'm saying? That type of shit. That's how Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, that's how that fight started. That's how those fighters got matched up, because they fought the same opponents, and Manny was able to do it faster than Floyd. You see what I'm saying? So that's why. And then plus the pound for pound claim, like who was the best pound for pound. You know? So that could have been that deal. Again, as far as Deontay Wilder though, I'm looking on these channels and I keep hearing that Deontay Wilder offered to fight Dillian Whyte only if Anthony Joshua's name was attached to it. I don't remember that at all. So I'm going to have to do some research on that. What I do remember was Eddie Hearn offered that same deal to Deontay Wilder. He added, hey, we can make the Dillian Whyte fight. You fight Dillian Whyte in the UK for $8 million or $7 million, right? Then you fight Anthony Joshua for that $15 million. So you fight the 7 or the 8 million plus the 15 million. That leaves you 22 or 23 million. Highest career payday. And see, understand something, people. At the time, that was a highest career payday for Deontay Wilder. It was. And then a lot of you look at these channels, oh, how is this supposed to be? We don't know how much Deontay Wilder makes. That's the problem. You have to research and shit on how much he makes, because you have to know what a person's value is. Because if you don't know how much he makes, you can't claim to be the A side without knowing that information, people. So a lot of people are saying, why you in Deontay Wilder's pockets? Why you got to know what the man make? Fuck it. He makes enough. That's good enough. He's winning. That's good enough. But understand, if you are the A side, you should have no problem with matching your profit and marketability up with the next man to see who's the A side. So I don't know if these guys were really Floyd fans before, and then all of a sudden they had to find somebody else to jump on the bandwagon. But Floyd himself made it that much clear on who was the A side and who wasn't the A side. The A side brought in the money. The A side sold the most tickets. Okay? The A-side's fucking salary was a lot more than the one person, because that person was more marketable because of endorsements, popularity, etc., etc. But for you to say, hey, I don't have to tell you what I make because I'm my own boss, but then if you feel that way, you can't claim to be the A-side. So back to this and where this all fits in, that the career high paydays that White was talking about was the 7-8 million. Deontay Wilder at that time had not made that amount of money. I think he topped that with Fury, because it was pay-per-view and they made enough to break even to pay those two fighters of $4 million and $3 million. Deontay Wilder made $4 million. Fury made $3 million. Okay? The shit about the $10, $11, $12 million, I don't know. Because again, we don't know. That's all speculation. And then you have to break bread with the broadcasters. You know, you have to break bread with a lot of people. So I don't think it was what people think it is. That's why he's really hush hush. He ain't talking about the money he makes, because he knows it's not that amount. But whatever it is enough for him. That's not the point. The point is that if someone offered you a certain amount of money to fight, and you turn around and say, a king don't chase a peasants. A king chase kings, along with more evidence. You telling this man you're going to freeze him out for 2 years. He can't say he didn't say that. Now, the funny thing about it, I would ask questions like that. Do you remember, Mr. Wilder, the conversation that Dillian Whyte had with AK and Barack on the Zone, and he showed a inbox on a direct message from you? What do you say about that? And they read it verbatim on what you said that you told that person. See, those type of things, that's evidence, okay? That's the thing about true media. Fuck new media. You know what I mean? The media is media. It's the same concept. You can go back and look at what a person says and what a person read and what a person made. Okay? You can't lie about those things. You see what I'm saying? That's true media. Fuck new media. New media is like some shit that's trying to be patented by certain channels. That don't mean shit. True media, okay, is what someone said and then they say they didn't say it. Oh, well, really? You go back and say, hey, you said that. You can't say you didn't say it. Like Shelly Finkel said, we agreed to terms, and then turn around and say they didn't agree to terms. Yeah, that's true media, because you truly lied, and we can truly tell what you said before. Then you're trying to clean it up and lie about it later, and you can't do that because you made an ass out of yourself, right? So as far as Ortiz went, or Dillian Whyte fighting Ortiz, I honestly think Eddie Hearn didn't want that fight for Dillian Whyte. I honestly did, because when it comes to Ortiz, he's more like, okay, hey, here's the fight, take it or leave it. Then it's like, okay, you don't want it, fine, bye. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we tried. Sorry, Dillian. Sorry, Anthony Joshua. We tried. And I thought that was always strange, though, simply because if you can remember, when Dillian Whyte offered Luis Ortiz to fight at the O2 Arena, and Chisora asked for too much money. So why was it okay for Chisora to go back and negotiate with Eddie, but then it wasn't okay for Luis Ortiz? You see what I'm saying? Like, they claim Ortiz decided to, hey, I'm going to stay on the undercard, and I've already agreed to a fight, and I already signed a contract to a fight. You know what I mean? But I've known a lot of fighters, Golovkin, Lara, they've done the same thing where they've signed a contract. Martin Murray's another one. They signed a contract and then decided, and found out, Billy Joe Saunders did it. Found out that, hey, I got another opportunity, so guess what? I'm going to go and fight this guy. Fuck that contract. You know what I mean? So Luis Ortiz should have done that. And I feel that Eddie should have pushed for that fight, because I don't know what they were thinking. Either there was some doubt with Eddie that his fighters could beat that particular guy, Luis Ortiz, especially Dillian Whyte, because he wanted him away from Dillian Whyte, and then they all of a sudden went back to Chisora and renegotiated with him. See, when you're truly negotiating with a person, the back and forth, like the Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder negotiations, that was actually a attempt, because they were negotiating. There were some attempt, okay? Like Hearn, all those, and Shelly confirmed it. Eddie was reaching out to Shelly Finkel in regards to Anthony Joshua fighting Deontay Wilder. That's fact. You can't say that, Joshua was running and he was ducking. No, you can't say that, because his promoter, which was Eddie Hearn, was trying to get that fight together. Now, back to Dillian Whyte, I didn't see Eddie Hearn doing that same type of energy with Luis Ortiz, Dillian Whyte. You see what I'm saying? And if he would have done that, he would have done something that he didn't realize. He would have fought the guy that was the boogeyman that was beat by the champ. The guy that you claimed to want to fight, right? But you're trying to do it on your own terms. You can't do that shit all the time, because obviously he tried to do it the right way by the WBC. They're crooks. We be crooks, right? We be crooked, right? These guys are that way. That's not the first time, and it won't be the last time you hear about the WBC doing some shady shit. There, I said it. I've said it 100 times already. I'm going to say it 100 more. There's some crooks, okay? So why should he expect to get anything from the WBC, especially if you whistleblow and speak your mind like Bernard Hopkins did against Don King, okay? How you think that you're going to get anywhere with that? You're not. So Dillian Whyte responding, he's like, hey, I'm coming for you one way or the other. I hope so. But I'm going to end it with this, guys. You see all this back and forth and shit? He's trying to lure Deontay Wilder into a fight. And he's talking about Deontay Wilder. His focus is Deontay Wilder. Why? Why are you talking about Deontay Wilder? Deontay Wilder, to me at this point, is a janky motherfucker. He's janky. Like, don't talk about a fight and about a fighter that may or may not want to fight you. Worry about the fighter that's in front of you. Oscar Rivas. Worry about him. Worry about Oscar. Because if you don't, you might end up fighting a motherfucker that beats your ass and then you're worried about the dude behind him. Oh, and matter of fact, that wasn't even that dude at all. He didn't even want to fight me. And then guess what? Here comes Deontay Wilder. You know what? See, that would have happened to him if I would have fought him. He couldn't have possibly beat me. He let Oscar Rivas beat him. Rivas. He beat him. Hell, he can't fuck with the Browns bomber. Shit, I knows this. So, yeah. So, Dillian Whyte, I think he should calm down, focus on the fighter in front of him, and then worry about Deontay Wilder after that fight is made. Call him out to the heavens after you beat Oscar. Because I'm going to tell you something about Oscar Rivas. We might see another upset. Why? Because Dillian Whyte is not focused on the fighter that he's supposed to be focused on. He's focused on a fighter that's been possibly ducking him. Obviously, definitely freezing him out for whatever reason. Okay? So that's what we have. The WBC is protecting them like Dillian Whyte said. Yeah, that's true. They protect a lot of fighters. What else is new? You know what I mean? Who cares? They're crooked. We get it. But focus on your fucking fighter. Because you have a fight in front of you, and this guy's undefeated, and he's already upset credible opponents already. Made a name for himself. He beat fucking Andy Ruiz in the amateurs. So you think this dude can't fight? Come on, bro. This motherfucker's 6 foot tall. You know, and sure, Dillian Whyte's about 6'4". He's pretty tall. He's a good fighter, but he's a club fighter. He's a come-forward fighter. That's going to be one hell of a fight, man. And if he can take him out, great. He'll get his shot, but the question is when. But the big question is, when are you going to focus on the fight in front of you? That's my word on that. You guys tell me what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.